So, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to talk about Zwift Racing Score because they've finally gone and released it. But is it any better than what we had? Let's dive into it. So yeah, categorization system on Zwift has been there since day dot. It doesn't really work, does it? People have been asking for a results-based categorization system for ages, but of course there isn't one size fits all. So anyway, there was one on the Zwift Racing app. Zwift have taken the guru behind that app and they've got them involved in their racing score system, and they've just launched it. So what do we think of it? We've done one race and yeah, it wasn't great, I'll be honest. Now I have to preface that with one, we're not feeling as fit as we were. We've had inconsistent riding over the spring and early summer. We're just coming off the back of another bout of COVID. All of our metrics are falling. So much so that we've just recently been downgraded from C to D on Zwift. So yeah. However, the racing score and the figure that we've got, and we'll talk about why we got that figure, put us into effectively a D race. But in that D race, and certainly looking at the results, the top 20 were all C cat riders, with one or two B cat riders. Is that any fairer? Certainly doesn't sound fair to me. Yeah. So anyway, basically the racing score is on a scale of a 0 to 1000, and then split those categories. So 0 to 225, 225 to 400, 400 to 575, 575 to 725, and 725 to 1000. Now, does that make it any fairer? Time will tell. But as I said, for my first race, I would say no, it doesn't make it any fairer, because how can I as a D cat race against people who are C's and B's and have a fair race? Now, you see the race going on here. We lasted until about 10k to go. We royally blew up. We had a very, very hard race. Certainly on our metrics for Strava, it reckons it was 150 plus on the energy expenditure. So deep into the red. Xert reckons it was a 3-star effort. So that's a hard effort. We set new heart rate maxes. So everything would say that we were working really hard. Were we working harder than we normally would? I want to say yes, because the last couple of races that we did in the C Cats, and we finished round about the same position as we did in this race, they were not as hard. Now, RGV, it's a pretty easy course, to be fair. It's mostly flat. You've obviously got the KOM in the middle, and then you've got the snaky rollers, but it's a flattish course. So we raced on the Mayan San Remo, we raced on Island Hopper, and we raced on Going Coastal. Those races are admittedly shorter than RGV, but RGV I wouldn't say is a much harder course. Yet our effort was much harder than they did on those races. I have to say, from that one effort, that it's all down to racing score. We were racing against C's and some B's. We weren't just racing in our category. The previous races, I should say, that were easier in terms of effort, they were raced in the C cat. So yeah, for me, that racing score doesn't create a fairer race. Yeah, time will tell whether or not it's going to get any better. Funnily enough, if I look at the results Now, I didn't take a note of what my starting position was. It was 200 something. But we went up. We now have a score of 285. Interesting enough, if I look at the other scores, you know, people went up to 400, people went up over 400. As I said, the top 20 were all mostly C's with a few B's thrown in. But like, look at their power: 3.1, 3.4, 2.9, 3.3, 3.3. You know, I was down at 2.3 with a 20-minute power of 210. There was people in my race who did finish in front of me with 20-minute powers of 290. How can it be fair that I'm grouped with them? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But it is what it is. We will try and do some more races over the next few weeks. There'll be no more racing this week because, as I said, yesterday's effort was so hard. In fact, this is the day after that I'm now recording this because I was just wiped out completely. But we do need to get back on the bike. We do need to be a bit more consistent with our training, and obviously with training comes racing. We're not doing any outdoor racing this year at all, seeing as it's now July. We're just not ready. So we'll do some more racing on Zwift, and I guess we will look out for the Zwift Racing Score events. We won't be doing any of the tiny races. There will be some on the Crit Club. There will be some on the monthly Zwift Racing. So yeah, we'll do some more, but yeah, I'm not holding up much hope for it creating fairer events. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, what can I say about our race? Just very quickly, it's obviously been running in the background. Started off strong. Average power was pretty high, even on the flats. I knew it was going to be a tough race. It settled down because that's how Zwift racing works. But certainly RGV, it's a pretty easy start. There's a couple of little rollers as you go out the coast. There's a wee squeeze on as you obviously get to the sprint section with the cobbles, and then there's a little false climb before the actual KOM, and I knew it was going to blow apart there, and it did. It blew apart so badly. I was completely gone. Tried to ride with another rider through the rollers. He pushed on a bit, I just couldn't follow, and then we just cruised over the line. So yeah, difficult race. Yeah, jury's still out, but I'm at the moment veering towards a for Zwift Racing Score. But let me know what you think. Drop your comments down below, and yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Look out for each other, take care of yourself, and ride on. Zoom.